This video is not for you. This video is not for you if you are a proud people pleaser. This video isn't for you if you're an ashamed people pleaser. This video is for you if you're a people pleaser in denial. Don't click off yet, because you don't know it yet. I'm talking about the people who have no issue with saying that they don't care about other people, have no issue with saying that they have controversial opinions, have no problem with having those controversial opinions, actually. But when it comes time to actually express them, they play it safe because, well, I don't want to make drama unnecessarily. If there was drama, then I would have no issue, right? All right, let's get a little bit more specific. I'm talking to the people who used to think that they had it all figured out and now feel stupid. I'm talking to the people who used to have brains that made sense and now they don't. I'm talking to the people who used to be smart and now they are dumb. I'm talking to you. Not just gifted kids. I'm talking about average people too. You don't even need to have been a gifted kid. You know the whole, I used to read a lot when I was younger, but I kind of fell out of the practice. And then you slowly feel your intelligence waning, your words disappearing, your vocabulary dwindling. You feel the connections in your brain begin to become further and further away from each other. You start to forget things. You start to think, do I have dementia? That's what I'm talking to. If you relate to that, keep watching, I'm talking to you. So now I have you here. The people who used to have it all figured out, right? You used to have your life together. You used to have everything figured out. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you're doing 10 years from now, 15 years from now. You knew what you were doing. You had it. This video is not for you. This video is not for you if you are a proud people pleaser. This video isn't for you if you're an ashamed people pleaser. This video is for you if you're a people pleaser in denial. Don't click off yet, because you don't know it yet. I'm talking about the people who have no issue with saying that they don't care about other people, have no issue with saying that they have controversial opinions, have no problem with having those controversial opinions, actually. But when it comes time to actually express them, they play it safe because, well, I don't want to make drama unnecessarily. If there was drama, then I would have no issue, right? All right, let's get a little bit more specific. I'm talking to the people who used to have brains that made sense and now they don't. I'm talking to the people who used to be smart and now they are dumb. I'm talking to you. You don't even need to have been a gifted kid. You know the whole, I used to read a lot when I was younger, but I kind of fell out of the practice. And then you slowly feel your intelligence waning, your words disappearing, your vocabulary dwindling, those types of people. You feel the connections in your brain begin to become further and further away from each other. You start to forget things. You start to think, do I have dementia? That's what I'm talking to. If you relate to that, keep watching, I'm talking to you. So now I have you here. The people who used to have it all figured out, right? You used to have your life together. You used to have everything figured out. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you're doing 10 years from now, 15 years from now. You knew what you were doing. You had a plan, you were ambitious, you had your goals, and you achieved them. And then it all fell apart. What happened? It might have been during COVID, it might have been after academic burnout, it might have just been random, it might have been after an emotional event. But you used to be smart, and now your brain just went. Now that you're here, let's chat. The problem is you're not being present, my love. The reason why you're so smart is because when everyone else was busy focusing on outside, focusing on other people, focusing on playing around in the real world, you were in your head. You were busy focusing on the connections between things. And you were kids, you could get away with it. You still had to figure out the world. I mean, you can't not. You kind of had to survive. You had to figure out the basic rules of physics, and everyone else was learning that at the same time. So you were on pretty level playing field, except you had something special. You were also making those connections. Now, as you get older, those same kids seem to focus more on the same things they were focusing on. I'm talking ages 6 through 12, for example. These kids are all paying attention to the same things. They're all paying attention to other people. They're paying attention outside. They're paying attention to sports, hobbies, things. And you're still here making those connections. Maybe you're online. Maybe you're writing fan fiction. Maybe you have online friends more than real life friends. Maybe you do have real life friends, but you're more of an observer in every scenario. Maybe you just look at what's happening between every person rather than listening for the actual words coming out of those people's mouths, coming into your eardrums, just the sounds themselves. You're paying attention to the words and the meanings of those words and what those words, what impact those words have on other people. That's what you're focused on. And of course, everyone focuses on that to some degree, but you're focused more. And again, you're still kind of young, so you still can get away with it. Maybe you're not as good at sports as the other kids are. Maybe you just figure, I'm just not naturally as good at sports as they are, and so you just neglect it. Maybe you don't have the same hobbies as some other kids. I'll find some hobbies later, or I'm not concerned about that, I don't care. Maybe you're not paying attention to the same TV shows or fashion as other kids. Maybe you're too busy making the connections in your head to pay attention to the latest styles. And so you don't, because that's nonsense. You're busy making the world make sense. And it does. And it keeps making sense, and it keeps making sense, and it keeps making sense until, we've hit adulthood. This is early adulthood. And now, those same kids who aren't kids anymore are focused on the things that you were focusing on. All of a sudden, those vapid, boring teenagers that you used to ignore are actually having deep intellectual conversation. Wait, hold on. You're like, wait, she plays soccer, same as she always has, and wait, she's obsessed with fashion, same as she always was, and she's also interested in anthropology? Hold on a second. And most of us don't even notice that. Most of us don't even notice that those are the same types of people, because we're too busy being in our own heads, making our own connections, being anthropologists, sociologists, psychologists, scientists, physicists on our own. So we just engage in the interesting conversation when it's interesting, and they get to build their skill of making these connections in their head, and we get to continue building that skill of making these connections in our head until there gets to a point where we kind of can't make a connection anymore, because if you'll notice, there's nothing that they're connecting to anymore. So what's happened? We've gotten disconnected from reality. This is why I think that this phenomenon has occurred to so many people, specifically during COVID, because they've been distanced from other people. They've been distanced from the outside world. So all they have to do is stay in their own head. That's not too bad if they're not having a bad time. However, when you don't engage with the outside world as well, when you don't also have that real life stimuli to build those connections off of, the connections don't really make sense anymore. And they're not rooted in reality. They're rooted in previous realities. They're rooted in previous connections you've made. And the older you get, the older your points of reference become, until and unless you engage with the real world again. There's also a really big chance that you guys aren't going outside as much as you should be. And even if you are going outside, there's a chance you're not present as much as you should be. That big brain of yours, that pattern-finding brain of yours was really good back in the day when you were little, when you had to go outside, when you had to be present because you're just figuring the world out. But now that you're older and you think you have things figured out, you have more freedom to sit in your head, away from all the pressure, away from all the fear of being present. Being in the moment, being here. You need to be present. As a child, you have no choice but to be present. If you are not present, you will die. You know that innately because you're human and you know how to survive. That was evolutionary. You know that if you are not here, you are not here. You know, that's not really a crazy thing to say. So how come you lose that when you get older? How come you can be here but not be here? That doesn't make sense. X equals X. If you are here, then be here. If I'm filming this video, then I'm filming this video. If I'm looking at myself, then I'm looking at myself. If I'm looking at the camera, then I'm looking at the camera. If I'm writing something down, I'm writing it down. If I'm eating food, then I'm eating food. Just do the thing that you're doing. Be there. If you're speaking, speak. Think about what you're saying. There's no reason why you shouldn't know what's about to come out of your mouth. That's a big thing that I personally struggle with, that I'm starting to work on because I know about this issue. Think about the things that you're doing. The more you do this, the easier things will become. The more you do this, the more your brain will start to make sense again. The moment you think, the moment you are present in the moment that you're in, the moment you align your thoughts with the current moment, is the moment that you heal. It's the moment that you start to heal. It really is. And the second piece, and I really want to stress that I titled this video the way it is for a reason. It is crucial that only the right people listen to this. You need to listen to your intuition. You need to trust what you think. Only these people, only the people who used to have it right, only the people who used to be perfect You see, does that resonate with you? Do you understand what I mean? You used to be perfect, and then something happened, and now you're ruined. Do you understand? That's the type of person I'm talking to. If that resonates, if that sentence resonates with you, you understand what I mean. We used to be perfect. Something happened. Now we're this. We used to be so smart. Some other people will resonate with they used to be so smart. You don't have to resonate with every single way I phrase it, but just the idea behind it. If that's you, what you need to do now is you need to be present first. Second thing you need to do, trust yourself. Once you've been present, once you have these experiences, you will be able to trust yourself again. If you want help on how to be present, I'm going to need you to comment on what specific issues you're having, because I need to know what the problem is so I can help you solve it. I understand that saying be present isn't very helpful, so I'll make a second video, I'll make a follow-up if this gets any views, explaining how exactly to be present. Now I want to stress this again so badly, because the people who don't trust themselves already, the people who never were able to think, this is the way, this is what I need to do, and just do it, they will not benefit from this advice. They might actually be hurt by this advice. Some people are made for other people. Some people are made to have people who are always going to look out for them. You and I, we are not like that. We're not built like that. We are the people who are made to look out for other people. As a result, we are gifted with the ability to have working intuition 99% of the time, unless something wild happens that we weren't able to account for. But if we have all the facts, 99% of the time, we have that accurate insight. And we can provide advice for ourselves and to others. We are not the type of people who need to take advice from other people. That's okay. They can provide it, you can listen to them. If it resonates, you gotta make sure that things resonate with you. That is one of the most important words. Trusting your intuition, right? Trust your intuition, right? Because we only get one life, and we all only get to live it from our perspective. It's not like we get to see what other options look like, or what our actions look like from other people's perspectives, or what our actions look like with their experience. With our experience, with our skill set, with our knowledge of what we know and what we don't know, we know what's best for us. Those types of people, us, the ones who used to have it right. And you might not notice it, but it's extremely likely that the place that you first went wrong was when you first started listening to other people. And that's not to say that you should never listen to other people, of course. But when things don't resonate with you, and you still listen, and you still take that advice, that's when things go wrong. And then things keep going wrong, and you keep taking that advice, and you don't know what's going on. The cycle will repeat until you learn the lesson. And that's the lesson you have to learn. Whether it resonates now or later, that's the lesson you have to learn. And again, that's only for the people who it will resonate with. There will probably be a few people pleasers, proud people pleasers on this video who will claim to relate. Maybe you do, but I don't think this is the advice for you. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. There's so many other videos you can take advice from. I don't think this is the one. I think this is the one that's made for the people who are usually the ones giving the advice. The people who grew up being the oracle, the people who grew up always knowing all the answers, the people who grew up being the smart one, and then all of a sudden things stop making sense in their head. The people who used to be smart and all of a sudden they feel dumb now. The people who feel like their IQ has gone down by 50 points. That's what I'm talking about. But we don't need to listen to other people's advice. Some people really do. Some people need people who know what's best for them. However, the problem for you and I occurred when we started taking that advice from random people who literally don't have any clue what our lives were like, what our experiences were like. And that really is a big part of life, of humanity. It's our experiences, it's our worldviews, it's everything that's shaped us, everything that's added texture around our hearts. Every experience that we've had, good and bad and neutral and everything in between, will shape us. And that's the only thing that differentiates us as humans, because we're all the same on the inside. The only thing that changes us is the time that we're alive and the place that we're alive in. And that will always be true. All that aside, in summary, if you are one of those people who have been perfect their whole lives, who have been really smart, intelligent their whole lives, avid reader, great at making connections, if that's you, if that was you, and then something happened and it all fell apart, or it just randomly all fell apart, the way to fix that is to first be present, and secondly, to trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust what resonates. And you know that something resonates when it is absolutely true to you. You cannot perceive it as being anything else. You know it resonates because there's no doubt. You feel it. Trust me. It might be delayed. It's delayed for me a lot. But when you feel that something resonates, you know. All that being said, leave a comment down below if you'd like to have a video on how to be present. Make sure you let me know what specifically you have trouble with so that I can specifically target those things in the video. Also, let me know what resonated with you from this one. I'm really excited to hear that. And let me know your next steps, any plans you have to get better. Also, really love hearing that. I don't have anything else to say, so that's the end of this video. But if you are that type of person, then you'll know, because this will resonate with you. And you'll know it resonates with you because you'll know what resonating with you feels like. There will be zero doubt. Zero. If you felt any doubt, no, it did not resonate with you. Even if you think, oh, well, maybe it really did, and then I started doubting myself. No. It will be so true to you that you could never doubt it. The only thing I can say, though, is that sometimes things will resonate with you at different times. You might hear a piece of information 1,000,000 times now, but it'll take 5 years for it to resonate. There have been plenty of times where that's happened. So perhaps these words will resonate with you, but you'll know what it feels like because there will be no doubt, and you'll know. Maybe you'll come back and you'll say, I felt it, but you'll know. So if you're the type of person who used to have everything right, who used to know where you were going, who used to know what you were doing, who used to have it all figured out, maybe it was COVID, maybe it was something else, maybe it was academic burnout, I don't know. But if that was you, you need to listen to yourself, listen to your intuition. You go wrong when you start listening to other people, when you start taking their advice, things that don't resonate. It is hard. It is easier said than done, especially for people like us. But when you're here, you'll feel it. You'll feel yourself. I don't know how to explain it either. And that's good advice for everyone. Just be present. That's good advice for everyone. But first thing, be present. Second thing, trust yourself. Once you've been